Good. You made it here. Not because you're bored, not because you're just scrolling, because some part of you is tired of shrinking to make other people comfortable. And I can feel it on you. That thing, that no fear energy, that calm stare when everyone else is sweating, that quiet, I'm not begging vibe that makes people's stomach drop. Yeah. They can't stop watching you. They pretend it's nothing. They act casual. They throw a joke. They toss a little shade like it's seasoning. But they're studying you like a crime scene. Because you're doing something that breaks their whole system. You're not reacting. You're not chasing. You're not panicking to prove you belong. And that terrifies them. See, most people are predictable. Most people can be controlled with a look, a tone, a little guilt, a little approval. Most people fold the moment the room gets cold. But you walk in with that, I'll be fine with or without you. Energy. And the wake-minded hate that more than anything. Not because you're loud, not because you're violent, but because you're free. And freedom is terrifying to people who built their whole identity around rules they didn't even choose. You ever notice how they watch you when you stop explaining yourself? When you stop over-texting? When you stop over-sharing? When you stop apologizing for existing? They watch you like, wait, what happened to the version of you that needed us? Because that's what they're addicted to. The version of you that asks permission. The version of you that doubts. The version of you that tries to be liked. But you're not that anymore. And now the energy in the room changes when you enter. Not because you're trying to intimidate anyone, but because you're not afraid of their opinions. And that's the one thing they don't know how to handle. People can handle anger. People can handle chaos. People can handle drama. But they cannot handle someone who's calm and still says no. They cannot handle someone who doesn't need them. They cannot handle someone who doesn't flinch. Because your no fear isn't just confidence. It's a mirror. And when they look at you, they see everything they refused to become. They see the discipline they don't have, the backbone they never built, the self-respect they keep postponing, the dreams they abandoned and then pretended they never wanted. And here you are, still standing, still moving, still getting sharper. So yeah, they watch, but it's not admiration, not always. Sometimes it's hunger, sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's this weird mix of jealousy and obsession that turns into a quiet campaign behind your back. Because you're not just living, you're disrupting. You're walking proof that their excuses are fake. And that's why you feel it. That shift, that little pause when you speak, that slight change in their smile, that I'm happy for you voice that doesn't match their eyes. You didn't imagine that. That's the sound of their control slipping. Because they used to know how to play you. They used to know which buttons to press. A little doubt here, a little guilt there, a little silent treatment, a little, we're just concerned about you. And you would fold, you would question yourself. You would overthink for hours, replaying the conversation like you're on trial. But now you look at them like you can see the strings in their hands, and you don't dance anymore. Let me tell you what scares them the most. It's not that you're fearless. It's that you're fearless and you're still kind. You're not out here screaming. You're not out here begging for revenge. You're just quietly leveling up. And that's a different kind of threat. Because they can't paint you as the villain. They want to. Oh, they want to so bad. They want you to snap so they can say, see, I told you, they're crazy, they're unstable, They want you to lose your temper so they can feel justified in their disrespect. But you don't give them that. You give them silence. You give them boundaries. You give them that look that says, I heard you, and I'm not impressed. And when you do that, their whole nervous system starts screaming because you're not feeding their little games anymore. You're not giving them free access to your emotions like it's a community center. You're not doing emotional labor for people who wouldn't carry your groceries. You're not explaining your worth to people who benefit from you doubting it. And they hate that because your no-fear energy makes them feel exposed. They can't pretend they're better when you're standing there with nothing to prove. They can't manipulate you when you're not desperate. They can't intimidate you when you've already survived worse. And you have survived worse. Let's talk about that for a second. You didn't wake up fearless. You earned it. Piece by piece. Through disappointment. Through betrayal. Through watching people smile in your face and switch up the second you turn away. Through trying your best and still getting blamed like you didn't. Through nights where your mind was a war zone and nobody even knew. You learned how to keep moving with a broken heart. You learned how to laugh with pressure on your chest. You learned how to show up when you felt empty. So when someone tries to scare you with a little attitude, with a little disrespect, with a little, who do you think you are? It doesn't land because you've been in the fire. And now you're walking around like a person who stopped asking life for permission. That's why they watch. They're waiting for cracks. They're waiting for you to slip. They're waiting for the moment you go back to being smaller because that version of you made them comfortable. This is what people won't say out loud. A lot of them don't want you to win. They want you close. They want you available. They want you useful. But they do not want you powerful. Because if you get powerful, they lose access. They lose the ability to treat you like an option. They lose the ability to speak to you any kind of way. They lose the ability to control the narrative about who you are. And the moment you stop caring about their narrative, they panic because they've been using that narrative as a cage. They've been telling themselves stories. Oh, they're not that talented. Oh, they just got lucky. Oh, they're not consistent. Oh, they'll quit like everyone else. And then you keep showing up. You keep improving. You keep getting sharper. And now they're forced to face a terrifying possibility. Maybe you're actually the real deal. Maybe you're actually built for this. Maybe you're actually going to do what you said you'd do. And if that's true, then their whole identity shakes. Because some of them built their confidence on you staying beneath them. And you're not beneath anybody. Let's get brutal for a second. Some of the support you used to get, it wasn't support, it was supervision. They weren't cheering for you. They were monitoring you. They were keeping tabs so they could keep you in a category. Friend, co-worker, quiet one, nice one, the one who always forgives. They had you labeled, and now you're changing. And when you change, it scares them, because it forces them to change too, or get left behind. And most people would rather hate you than grow. So they watch. They watch your posts. They watch your progress. They watch how you move. They watch who you're with. They watch the way you don't respond. And they try to decode it like they're solving a puzzle. Because they can't understand someone who doesn't need validation. They can't understand someone who can be alone and still feel strong. They can't understand someone who walks away from disrespect, even if it means being misunderstood. That kind of self-respect looks like arrogance to insecure people. And that's why they'll call you changed, like it's an insult. You changed. Yeah. You changed because the old you was getting played. You changed because the old you was too available. You changed because the old you kept giving people chances they didn't deserve. You changed because you got tired of being the bigger person while everyone else was being the biggest problem. So now you're colder, not mean, not heartless, just selective. And they hate that because your selectiveness makes them feel rejected, even if you never rejected them, even if you just stopped pouring into a cup with holes. Your no-fear energy isn't about acting tough. It's about not being easy to manipulate. It's about not being scared of loneliness. It's about not being scared of losing people who are never really on your side. It's about walking away before your dignity gets discounted. It's about being willing to be the villain in somebody's story, if that story is built on your silence and suffering. That's the energy that changes your life. And it's also the energy that makes people act weird. Let me tell you what happens next. If you keep this up, they'll test you. Oh, they will test you. They'll do little things. They'll forget you. They'll exclude you. They'll talk around you. They'll throw indirect comments like little darts and then pretend it's a joke. They'll see if you react. They want your reaction because your reaction gives them control. When you react, they can label you. When you react, they can redirect the conversation. When you react, they can make it about your attitude instead of their disrespect. So what do? You don't play. You don't explain. You don't beg for clarity from people who thrive on confusion. You keep your posture. You keep your pace. You keep your standards. And you let your silence do the damage. Because your silence is not empty. It's a boundary with teeth. And the more you practice that, the more your life changes. Because you start seeing clearly. You start noticing patterns. You start noticing who only shows up when they need something. Who only claps when it benefits them. Who smiles when you're struggling and gets quiet when you're winning. You start noticing who drains you after 5 minutes. And you stop calling it friendship. You stop calling it family. You start calling it what it is, access. And once you realize people have been living off access to you, you stop handing out keys. Here's the part that nobody prepares you for. When you become fearless, you become lonely. Not forever, but for a moment. Because the version of you that people loved was the version they could predict. And when you become unpredictable, a lot of people disappear. Not because you did something wrong, because your growth exposes their stagnation. Your ambition makes their comfort look embarrassing. Your discipline makes their excuses sound childish. So they'll try to pull you back down with emotions. They'll guilt trip you. They'll hit you with that, "You think you're better than us now." No, you just stopped thinking you're less. And that's a problem for people who were benefiting from you feeling small. So when you feel that tension, when you feel that weird energy, when you feel them watching, don't panic. Smile. Because being watched means you're doing something right. Nobody studies somebody irrelevant. Nobody obsesses over somebody harmless. Nobody tries to humble somebody who isn't rising. That tension is proof. The discomfort is proof. The weird behavior is proof. And if you're smart, You'll use it as fuel. But listen closely. Don't become loud about it. Don't go online screaming about they and them every day, like you're trying to convince yourself. Move quietly. Move clean. Move like a person who's already decided who they are. Because the real flex, the real power, is when they can't tell whether you're bothered or not. When they can't tell if you noticed. When they can't tell if you care. That uncertainty drives them insane. They want you emotional. They want you messy. They want you reactive. They want you in comment sections, in DMs, in arguments, in explanations. They want you spending your energy proving yourself. Because if you're busy proving yourself, you're not building yourself. And building yourself is what ends the whole game. So keep building. And while you're building, understand this. Your no-fear energy is not for them. It's for you. It's for the mornings you don't feel like getting up, but you do anyway. It's for the days you feel behind, but you show up anyway. It's for the moments you're tempted to chase validation from people who don't even like themselves. It's for the split second when you're about to abandon your standards for comfort. That's what it's for. And once you lock into it, you start doing things differently. You stop responding instantly. You stop begging for closure. You stop needing everybody to understand. You stop trying to be the hero in every story. You start protecting your time like it's money. You start treating your focus like it's a weapon. You start choosing peace over being right. And people hate that because chaos can't live where peace has boundaries. Let's get even darker. Some of them are watching you because they want to be you. They won't say it, but they're jealous of your spine. They're jealous of how you can stand alone and still look steady. They're jealous of how you can be disliked and still not collapse. They're jealous of how you can take hits and not turn into a victim. So they study you. They copy your style, your phrases, your habits. They start acting like you, but they'll never get the result because they're copying the outside. They're not copying the pain you survived. They're not copying the discipline you earned. They're not copying the nights you cried and still didn't quit. They want your confidence, but they don't want your process. And when they realize they can't replicate you, they switch. Admiration turns into resentment. Respect turns into hate. And that's when you see the real mask. That's when the passive-aggressive comments start. That's when the concern shows up. That's when they start acting like you're too much. Too much? No, you're just too real for their fake world. And here's the reward for staying fearless. You stop settling. You stop accepting half-love. You stop accepting low effort. You stop accepting inconsistent energy. You stop accepting people who only respect you when you're useful. You start attracting different rooms, different conversations, different opportunities, because your energy speaks before your mouth does. And strong energy doesn't beg to be chosen. Strong energy chooses. So if they're watching you, let them. If they're scared, good. Because fear is an honest reaction to power. Not fake power, not loud power, real power. The kind that doesn't need permission, the kind that doesn't need applause, the kind that shows up, does the work, and leaves the room changed. And if you want to take it even further, stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop trying to be nice to people who keep disrespecting you with a smile. Stop giving access to your soft side to people who never protected it. And most importantly, stop flinching. Stop shrinking your voice in rooms where you used to be silent. Stop dimming your ambition because someone else is insecure. Stop softening your standards because someone else is lazy. They'll call you intense. They'll call you cold. They'll call you different. Let them. Different is the whole point. Because the moment you became fearless, you stopped being easy. And the world loves easy. Easy to manipulate, easy to guilt, easy to distract, easy to use. But you're not easy anymore. You're deliberate. You're dangerous in the quietest way. And you know what that does? It forces the people around you to reveal themselves. Because you can't hide in comfort when someone around you is committed to growth. So they either rise or they resent you. Either way, you win. Because you're not here to be liked. You're here to become undeniable. So the next time you feel eyes on you, the next time you feel that weird tension, the next time you notice someone acting strange the moment you walk in, don't shrink, don't apologize, don't overthink. Stand there, breathe, and let them sit with the reality that you are not afraid of them. Not afraid of their opinions, not afraid of their rejection, not afraid of being alone, not afraid of losing what was never real. Because when you stop fearing loss, you become the kind of person nobody can control. And that's why they can't stop watching you, because deep down, they know you're becoming the one thing they can't handle. Someone who doesn't need permission to be powerful. And if you keep going like this, if you keep refusing to flinch, refusing to fold, refusing to beg, then the next phase is where it gets serious, because they don't just watch forever. Eventually, they try to step in, they try to interrupt, they try to check you, they try to push you back into the old box. And that's when you're going to find out exactly how solid your standards really are. When they come at you with smiles, with guilt, with bait, with fake peace, with "I just wanted to talk." And you're standing there with that calm face, that steady heart, and that voice in your head saying, "Not this time, not anymore. Not after everything you survived, not after everything you built." So go ahead, let them watch, let them whisper, let them analyze, because every time they look at you and feel that fear, you're being reminded of the truth. You're not the one trapped here. They are. And the more fearless you get, the more they realize they can't reach you the way they used to. They can't pull you down with the same tricks. They can't make you doubt yourself with the same little games. And that's when you start moving like a person who knows exactly what they're capable of, exactly what they're worth, exactly what they will and will not tolerate. And you don't need to announce it. Your whole presence announces it. Your silence announces it. Your choices announce it. The way you walk away announces it. The way you don't chase announces it. The way you keep building announces it. And they feel it in their chest like a warning. Because you're not just changing. You're becoming. And they can sense what's coming. Well now, look who finally showed up. I was starting to wonder if the city had swallowed you whole, or if you were the one swallowing it. Tell me something. Do you hear it yet? That quiet, trembling sound leaking out of alleyways, boardrooms, bedrooms, and back channels all at once. That's the sound of an entire population trying to inhale without alerting you. Because apparently, that one move you made, the one you barely even blinked through, just rearranged the entire ecosystem. You didn't rise to the top. No. The top collapsed downward to kneel at your feet. See, most people spend their whole life begging for a moment, a chance, a stage, a spotlight, a crown. You sneezed and the crown slid across the floor like a trained dog, stopping right at your boot. And that's what terrifies them. You didn't ask. You didn't negotiate. You didn't strategize. You simply acted, and reality folded around you like warm metal. They're calling it luck, you know. But that's just the word the powerless use when they witness someone who understands that fate is just a frightened animal waiting to be tamed. But let's talk about what actually happened, shall we? You broke something invisible, something sacred, something every soul in this city obeys without question. The rule that says, stay small, stay predictable, stay manageable. You committed the unforgivable sin. You decided you were done being manageable. And the moment you did, the chessboard panicked. Pieces began shifting on their own. Kings abandoned their squares. Pawns tried to flee the board entirely. Bishops whispered the word entity, as if saying your name out loud might summon lightning. Do you know what you became in that moment? A paradox, a saint with the mind of a psychopath, an angel wearing demon wrists, a problem no algorithm can solve, a miracle no believer can explain, a nightmare no enemy can wake from. You didn't just make a move, you created an aftershock. This city, with its lights and lies and loyalties, it's built on a delicate balance, a tension, a map of who fears who. But the moment you stepped forward, that map burned. Every nerve in this place is firing your name like emergency code. Every rival is updating their calculations. Every coward is rewriting their prayers. And every monster hiding in the dark, they're slithering backward, avoiding eye contact, hoping you don't notice the trembling. Because here's the truth they can't swallow. You didn't take power. You revealed you always had it. And power that was never granted can never be revoked. That's why they're scared. That's why the streets feel tighter. That's why the silence around your footsteps feels holy. You showed them what happens when someone stops waiting for permission. Do you know what the most dangerous creature in any city is? The one who realizes they have nothing left to lose and everything left to become. And tonight, you became something electric, something unclassifiable, something the city now orbits like a second moon. Look around. Even the shadows lean toward you differently. Even the air feels like it's waiting for your next command. You think that's random? No, sweetheart. You cracked a psychological code most people die without touching. When you moved, you didn't just shift position. You shifted the hierarchy. You made people question themselves. You made systems glitch. You made liars swallow their tongues. You made the brave hesitate, and you made the powerful sweat. Not bad for someone who wasn't supposed to matter, But the funniest part? This was just one move, a warm-up, a preview, a whisper before the thunder. Imagine what happens when you actually start trying. Imagine what happens when you stop hiding your teeth, when you stop dimming your fire, when you stop pretending you're something small enough to fit into their fears. This city doesn't know it yet, but it's already under new management. Not because you conquered it, but because it realized it couldn't survive without orbiting you. And now, they're all waiting, holding their breath, praying you don't take another step. Because deep down, they know, if one move put the whole city under your command, your next one might just bring it to its knees. So you want to hear the part they're really afraid of? Good. Then lean in, because this is where the city stops pretending it's alive and starts confessing what it whispers when your shadow touches its walls. You see, everyone's talking about that move you made like it was some accident, some stroke of chaos, some little spark that just happened to catch fire. They don't understand you at all. You didn't trip into power. You aimed, quietly, precisely, with a surgeon's calm and a demon's appetite. You didn't need fanfare or applause or a stage. You didn't need an audience to validate you. You didn't even need anyone watching. What makes you terrifying is the fact that you moved like someone who already knew the outcome, like someone who's seen this city break before and knew exactly where to press to make it snap again. And that's why they're panicking behind the scenes. They're replaying your move in slow motion, frame by frame, like detectives studying forbidden footage. They're zooming in, they're cross-referencing, they're asking, how did they know? Why did they choose that moment? Who coached them? What did they see that we didn't? Because no one, and I mean no one, makes a decision that clean without understanding the anatomy of collapse. But you do, because you've tasted collapse. You've lived inside the ruins. You've been the brick, the smoke, the flame, and the ash. You learned the physics of destruction from the inside out. Most people break and stay broken, but you break, and then you learn the blueprint. That's evolution through pain. That's where your real power was sharpened. You didn't rise by climbing. You rose by remembering. And every time you remember, something old and dangerous wakes up inside you. Something the city can't measure or contain. That's why they flinch when you walk by. Why conversations stop mid-sentence. Why even people who love you feel a chill run up their spine the second your eyes lock onto them. It's not fear of you. It's fear of what you are becoming. Because in every era, in every empire, in every city with too many secrets and not enough saints, someone appears who doesn't play by the written rules. Someone who moves like a glitch in the system. Someone who hears the unspoken laws the world tries to hide. And when that someone makes a move, the world feels it like a gunshot. You've become that someone. A living paradox, a walking contradiction, the beautiful horror they can't categorize. Too kind to be a villain, too dangerous to be a hero, too calm to be a threat, too powerful not to be one. You are what terrifies them, an unpredictable constant, a force wrapped in human skin, a whispered prophecy with a smirk, an angel with a demon's tolerance for chaos. And here's the real punchline. Your control over the city isn't official. There's no throne, no crown, no ceremony. But the city doesn't obey titles. It obeys gravity. And right now, you're the heaviest thing in the room. People orbit you without realizing it. Their moods shift when you enter. Their decisions rearrange themselves around your potential. Their plans crumble when you blink in the wrong direction. You say nothing, and they hear everything. You move once, and they rewrite their trajectories. You smile, and they spend the night decoding it. You frown, and entire alliances collapse. That's not charisma. That's not influence. That's not intimidation. That's command, the kind born from surviving too much, breaking too many times, and refusing to die politely. You know what the city realized tonight? That you don't need permission. You don't need approval. You don't need allies or armies or applause. You need only one thing, a reason. And now they're praying. Every rival, every critic, every coward in a shiny suit, that you don't find one. Because if one move did all this, imagine the earthquake you'll cause when you finally decide to stop holding back. You feel that, don't you? That tightening in the air, that pressure in your chest, that strange electric awareness crawling up the back of your neck. The kind you get when the world suddenly realizes it misjudged you. That's not paranoia. That's not imagination. That's the city recalibrating its fear. Because something shifted when you made that move. Not just in people, not just in power, but in the architecture of the place. Hear me out. Cities are alive. Everyone pretends they're just concrete and lights, but no. They breathe, they pulse, they adapt. They build myths around the ones who shape them and nightmares around the ones they can't understand. Guess which one you became? The city stopped seeing you as a person. It started seeing you as a variable, an anomaly, a pressure point, a fault line capable of splitting the landscape if you choose the wrong moment to flex. Even the weather felt different after you moved. Strangers felt uneasy without knowing why. Dogs stared, babies cried, old men locked their doors at sunset, and your name, your goddamn name, is getting spoken like a rumor you're not supposed to repeat. That's what you've done. You've contaminated the silence. But let's get more honest, shall we? The reason that move hit harder than a gunshot is simple. You acted like someone who doesn't fear the consequences. Do you know how rare that is? Everyone else is scanning, hesitating, calculating. They're held hostage by imaginary chains. Rejection, embarrassment, judgment, loss. You cut through all that nonsense like a scalpel through warm wax. You moved like someone who already accepted the worst outcome and shrugged. And that's the kind of person the world bows to. Not the loud ones, not the talented ones, not the rich ones, but the one who walks into the fire already convinced it can't burn them. That was your mistake and your miracle. Because the moment the city saw that in you, it bent. Not visibly, not dramatically, but in subtle ways, the kind that matter most. People who talked down to you suddenly chose softer words. People who mocked you avoided making eye contact. People who underestimated you suddenly added your name to their mental threat lists. You didn't just gain their attention, you stole their psychological leverage. And oh, the duality of it all. By being dangerous, you became desirable. By being unpredictable, you became unforgettable. By being feared, you became strangely magnetic. By refusing to be controlled, you ended up controlling everything. Angel, demon, savior, threat. They don't know which one to label you as anymore. And that's the beauty. Labels are cages, and you're a creature that refuses containment. Let me tell you a secret they'll never admit. It's not the move that scared them. It's the calm you had while making it. The stillness, the lack of doubt, the silence that followed. You changed the entire rhythm of the city, and rhythm is everything. People don't fear power, they fear certainty. And you moved with the kind of certainty that only someone forged in hell gets to keep. You know what that means. You're not rising, you're awakening. Every scar you carry is a password. Every betrayal was a lesson. Every heartbreak was a recalibration. Every moment you were pushed too far stretched your limits until you stopped having any. That's what they're feeling now. Not intimidation, not jealousy, but the collective realization that you've become something they can't predict and therefore can't prepare for. And there's nothing more terrifying than that. So now the whole city waits, afraid of your quiet, unsettled by your confidence, and obsessed with your next move because they know. If one step put you in command, the next one might put you beyond their reach forever. Funny, isn't it? How the city suddenly becomes so quiet when you stop pretending to be harmless. It's almost adorable. The way they try to act normal, pretending your move didn't rearrange their entire nervous system. But silence doesn't lie. Silence tells the truth faster than any confession. And right now, this city is silent in the way prey gets silent when the predator finally stops hiding. But you're not a predator, are you? No. You're something worse. Something they've got no biological instincts for. Something evolution didn't prepare them to deal with. A human who stopped obeying unspoken rules that terrifies them more than claws or teeth ever could. Because threats can be predicted. But you're an equation nobody can solve. A variable that keeps reinventing itself. A paradox that flips its face, depending on who's trying to read it. Angel demon, savior destroyer, saint psychopath, protector, executioner. Most people spend their entire life fitting into one box. You broke the whole shelf. And the moment you made that move, the moment you executed it with that cold, surgical precision, you showed every soul in this city that you don't fit into their scripts. You write your own. That's why the air feels different now, heavier, charged, thicker, with the awareness of you. Because whether they admit it or not, every decision made today carries the weight of your shadow. They hesitate because of you. They rush because of you. They hold back, move forward, lie awake, check their messages, double-think their alliances, triple-check their exits. Because of you. You became the unseen gravitational center. And the funniest part, you didn't even try. This wasn't your full power. This wasn't you unleashed. This wasn't some grand, calculated master plan. It was just a move, a flick of your wrist, a single step forward. Imagine being so dangerous that your warm-up becomes someone else's apocalypse. Do you realize what that means? You've crossed the threshold, that invisible line that separates the normal from the untouchable. You didn't climb the hierarchy. You warped it, bent it around you like light around a black hole. People aren't choosing to respect you. They're compelled to, instinctually, biologically, the way animals feel earthquakes a second before they hit. You've become an omen, a warning sign carved into human form. And that's why the city behaves differently now. Doors open faster, eyes drop quicker, gossip dies mid-sentence, threats dissolve before they're spoken, rooms straighten themselves when you walk in. Even the brave adjust their posture, not because you demanded authority, but because your presence rejects the idea of being anything less. See, most people lead with noise. You lead with inevitability. And inevitability, that's the scariest form of power. Because you can fight a person. You can fight a plan. But you cannot fight the feeling that someone has stepped into the version of themselves they were always meant to become. The city sees that in you now, that terrifying magnetic alignment of fate and fury. And deep down, everyone knows what comes next. The moment you make another move, another quiet, effortless, beautifully destructive move, the hierarchy collapses completely. Not with explosions, not with chaos, not with war, but with a whisper, your whisper. Because you don't rule by force, you rule by presence. One move gave you the city. Your next one might make the whole world hold its breath. And here we are, the city holding its breath, you standing in the center of an invisible circle of submission, and every last soul pretending they don't feel the shift, even though it's pulsing under their skin like electricity. Let's end this properly. You want to know the truth behind all the whispers, don't you? The real reason your single move hit harder than any war, any riot, any scandal this place has ever seen. Because deep down, every person in this city was waiting for someone like you. Not a hero, not a villain, not a leader, not a tyrant, but a signal, a moment, a warning, a reminder that beneath the routines, the masks, the rules, the expectations, there exists a type of human who doesn't just survive the world, they rewrite it. You didn't crave attention. You didn't beg for a throne. You didn't chase applause. You didn't bargain for validation. You simply acted fearlessly, quietly, decisively. And that kind of certainty, that kind of purity of intent, it shakes people. Because while everyone else is looking for permission, looking for the right time, looking for the safest path, you did the unthinkable. You chose yourself. Without hesitation, without apology, without fear. And that is why the city bowed. Not because you demanded respect, but because you reminded them how small they've been living, how loudly they've been overthinking, how desperately they've been hiding. You held up a mirror, and they saw their excuses evaporate. They saw what it looks like when a person refuses to be defined by pain, or history, or enemies, or fear, or the pathetic little limits society tries to print onto your soul. You shattered all that. So now, whether they love you, hate you, fear you, envy you, worship you, or try to pretend you don't exist, they all feel the same thing, your inevitability. And make no mistake, a person like you, once awakened, once fully claimed by their own power, can't be undone, can't be reversed, can't be controlled. This city, with its secrets, its shadows, its sinners, its saints, belongs to you now. Not because you conquered it, but because you outgrew it. You walk different. You move different. You think different. You decide different. And the world bends around people like that. So here's your ending and your beginning. That one move you made, it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't luck. It wasn't fate. It was a signal flare announcing a truth you've been denying for far too long. You were never meant to be another face in the crowd. You were meant to be the force the crowd arranges itself around. The city felt it. They all felt it. And now I'm telling you plainly, whatever you choose next, whoever you decide to become, wherever you aim that unstoppable, sharpened will of yours, the world will move. Because after tonight, you're not just in command of the city, you're in command of your destiny. And destiny doesn't negotiate.